Hey, the video you're about to watch is a response to a Candace supporter, a member of Cantifa, a sergeant in arms that had took issue with what I said on Chris Roseborough's channel, Fighting for the Faith. On that channel, I told Chris that Candace doesn't show any evidence, and I still stand by that. I believe that the young man, now granted, I hate that he didn't because I invited him to have a conversation. We could have just talked. And I would have explained to him what I meant by she doesn't have any evidence. She doesn't share evidence. Well, of course, he took umbrage with that and, of course, started calling me all these rude names. I'm a liar. I'm a wolf. I'm a false teacher, all that kind of stuff like that. So let's just talk about it. So what you're going to see is my response to him. I'm always going to leave the door open. You can always reach out to management. I'll gladly talk to you. So anyway, let's go check it out. Grace and peace, everybody. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. All right. So we got a Cantifa member who did a diss track. He's calling me out. He did a video to call your boy out. So let's go ahead and check it out. I'm probably not going to stop a whole lot. I've added a little bit for clarification's sake, but let's let him tease it out. Let's go.
Hi everyone, JWhit from The Framework. This is a video to JWhit. I want to give you my response. Yes, I'm not afraid to confess that my emotions have been a bit angry, confused, so on and so forth, but I do not believe that in my anger I've caused myself to sin or anyone else to sin. So JWhit asked me to come onto his show to discuss something or even just talk with you privately. He wanted something to be resolved. So
let me give the clarity. The video, I did cut out some of his stories because they're not really important to what we're talking about. I did a video with Chris Roseborough from Fighting for the Faith where Chris was asking me questions about my understanding about Candace and what's going on with the Charlie Kirk saga. And this gentleman was on Chris Roseborough's Facebook page saying some pretty harsh things about me. I'm a liar. I'm a horrible person, blah, blah, blah. And so someone told me about it. I said, hey, let me ask the guy to come on. Maybe he doesn't know where I'm coming from or what my stance is, that kind of stuff like that. And so I invited him to come on the channel. Like, come on to the channel. Either we can go on camera or not. I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying because maybe you don't understand what I'm saying. And I want to make sure we have some clarity. Maybe it's just a confusion issue. Initially, he said, sure. And then all of a sudden he dipped out. He told me he's now saying he's sick and this, that, and the other, but he's okay to do a video. So that's the genesis of it. I'll probably leave the whole clip that he did just so you can get the whole context. It's like 15 minutes long. I'll leave the whole context down below. So anyway, there we go.
When you watch JWhit's podcast, I want to thank people in advance for getting me his links to go, oh, look what he's saying about Candace, because he was actually trying to expose her. That was the first time I heard about JWhit about 3 weeks ago. When I went onto his channel and started watching how he was treating Candace Owens, it wasn't honest. Now, a lot of you would know that when I quote a wolf, or when I quote a false teacher or a false prophet or a fraud, I quote them as accurately as possible because
the comedy of what he just said right there is the irony is crazy. If he called me a liar, a false teacher, a wolf, right? But he doesn't actually quote what I said. Watch what he does.
Facts stands for themselves. Their own words condemn them. So I will try to be as articulate as I can because I know they can even go me. But when I was watching JWhit's show, it was fascinating to watch him absolutely delight in making her look stupid and going out of his way to misrepresent her, say things that she wasn't saying, or creating.
What did I say? Just tell me. You just said that you quote them, or you quote them accurately. Show clips or something of what I said.
Headings that weren't actually accurate to what you were saying. And I'm thinking, there's something wrong with this guy.
There's something wrong with me.
And then I was shocked to learn that Chris Roseborough was going.
But wait, hold on. Wait, notice he said he quotes them, but he just told you that I'm misrepresenting her. I make her look silly. I misquote her. No examples. But he also patted himself on the back that he gives evidence or truth. And this is the whole point was Candace doesn't give evidence. And it's just funny, he hasn't given any evidence.
Going to have him on his own podcast. And the ironic thing is that Chris Roseborough was actually doing a Bible study at the very beginning regarding about breaking the 8th commandment, kept bringing up Candace Owens, then got JWhit on to talk about Candace Owens, and then, to me personally, they were both breaking the 8th commandment. It was kind of ironic.
And of course, I've shared with you the video of me on Fighting for the Faith. Chris did an excellent job of explaining the 8th commandment. I explained how Candace violates that. I mean, we actually are giving evidence to our claim. He's just giving you talking points in a poorly treated sound room.
What you should have done was actually use JWhit as a case study of bearing false witness against your brother or sister, because that is what he constantly did in the second half of that video.
But you're not even doing it yourself, though. Why? Nothing is stopping you from giving the example of me bearing false witness against Candace Owens.
Now, I've already put up a snippet where he's openly just, where Chris Roseborough is asking, is there any evidence? Does Candace come with any evidence? And he was kind of going, well, if this, he said something along the lines of, I can't read, my glasses are off, I'm about to go back to bed.
No evidence.
Unless I can hold it or something like that. I'm thinking, well.
All right, so I put the clip in here that he's referring to. You tell me, am I saying that I have to hold it in my hand?
Does she even give evidence for real?
No, she doesn't give evidence. She doesn't give receipts. She doesn't say, hey, Chris, here is my piece of evidence that XYZ happened. There's nothing. It's just literally she'll talk for 20 to 30 minutes and not give one, and just say, like, this is how I feel. This is my thought, my reaction. My gut is telling me XYZ, ABC with no evidence.
You're being tricky there. Evidence isn't about if you can hold it in front of your hand. Maybe he was.
Did I say that? Did I say that you had to hold it in your hand? Telling me XYZ, ABC with no evidence.
You're being tricky there. Evidence isn't about if you can hold it in front of your hand. Maybe he was saying that to imply that you can't trust what's on the internet because things can be doctored and there's AI now.
No, but see, instead of reaching out, I even told the guy he could email me so we could clarify, because maybe I did think that he misunderstood what I was saying, and he's only proving my point. I told him he could have emailed me, and I would have explained exactly what I meant if it wasn't clear in my part with Chris Roseborough. So, but even more to the point, where's the evidence? He didn't give any evidence that I was wrong. I actually put that clip in, but let's go.
Maybe, but evidence comes by witness testimony. Evidence comes by watching actual videos that are already available, whether they be 10, 13, 15, or 20 years old. There's all types of evidence that is actually available and correct in court.
That's fine. And we could have talked about that. I don't argue that there's different types of evidence. I argue that the evidence that Candace shows isn't evidence. And I argue that on the video with Chris. But also I say she doesn't bring anything hard that you can look at without her translating it, which is the issue, which he seems to have skipped over that part in his explanation. I said, she's transcribing this information. She's telling you that this is evidence, and she's explaining how it's evidence rather than you looking at it yourself, coming to that conclusion. That's the problem.
So when he started playing that game, I'm thinking, what's he about to say? And then he was actually openly saying, there's no evidence, there's no evidence. I'm thinking, you're actually lying. You're actually breaking the 8th commandment. So my first port of call here.
He could have easily just reached out and I would have explained that to him, because he clearly doesn't know what I've said. He doesn't understand. Later on, he's going to tell you that he actually doesn't even watch Candace. He just watches clips. So he doesn't watch a whole watch party, a whole episode. He hasn't done that. He literally says it.
Is to say to JWhit, you're a liar.
Ooh.
And it's not because I'm upset with you lying about Candace.
Oh my.
But your lies will catch up to you, and your lies affect other people. Your lies affect people's reputations. And I am absolutely upset that you went confidently on to.
He's upset. He is upset with me. You better watch out. Man, he's upset. Okay. Let me take it down a little bit, Jimmy Neutron. Take it down. The issue is, sir, He calls me a liar for saying Candace doesn't have evidence, but he does not call out any of the things that Candace has said. Okay. All right.
Chris Roseborough's program and blatantly lied about Candace, where the result of that lie has now tainted the character and the ministry of Chris Roseborough. He is, I love his discernment, mate, but what you did was sinful.
Oh,
that was a
my.
public sin. You blatantly lied about Candace, and that lie has now poisoned the reputation of Chris Roseborough.
What?
Shame on you. And when I did raise this is when you wanted to engage me, and I'm thinking, okay.
Because I wanted to. You're Chris Roseborough is a friend, not only my friend, but he's a friend of the channel. So you are saying that I did something wrong. Well, let me clarify this. Let me make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, because this is not just saying, "Oh, you lied on Candace," but you're saying I'm lying on a friend. I'm mistreating. I'm doing a friend wrong. Would you say casting dispersions on their ministry? Hey, wait, hold on. Let me clarify what's going on. I thought I was trying to be fair.
Cool. I was kind of looking forward to that. But now, after considering and reflecting on why I felt so uncomfortable about this, it's because of this. I didn't go to a wolf and go, "Are you a wolf?" They're going to go, "No." I didn't go to a liar and go, "Are you a liar?" They're going to go, "No." So it looks like you're in damage control more than anything else. So I would encourage you not to engage me. I encourage you to review your
Oh, shoot. I was told not to engage him. Oh, man. Darn it. Darn it.
content on your own channel. I encourage you to reconsider what it is that, what your beef is with her. If anything, you're dishonest about what you actually feel towards her. You're not being Christian towards Candace. You come across someone who just hates her. And like the
I come across like I hate Candace. Okay. All right.
woke that I often expose as well. When woke people hate someone, they use their words to destroy them. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with you. You're acting woke. And I don't think that's acceptable behavior.
I don't think I've ever been called woke before. After Dear Woke Christian, I don't think I've ever been called woke before. But that's wow, that's that was a new one, I have to admit.
Just say you hate her. And then
I don't hate her.
In fact, I know a lot of Christians just hate Candace. And I'm thinking, just say that you hate her. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with people.
I don't hate Candace. I actually pity her. And I've said that a multitude of times. I don't expect Jimmy Neutron to know that, but I've made that case, so I'm not going to even argue that. Continue on.
Don't go out of your way to misrepresent someone that you don't like, because that's actually a sign that you hate them. So, yeah. I'm not in America. You've got your own politics. You got your own tribes. Obviously,
This is interesting how he's going to understand the judicial system. Watch this.
she's speaking out, and as I'm really upset the apple cart, she's clearly decided enough is enough. I was even watching psychologists talk about her, and at some point something snapped, and she's like, I don't care anymore. I just got to be myself and just say what needs to be said. So she's actually acting quite genuine in her videos. At the same time, she does come with evidence. She does come with receipts. She looks at the evidence of the FBI. She does look at the gun. She does look at the towel. She does look at the...
He just said that she looked at the gun. She looked at the evidence from the FBI. You can clearly tell this man doesn't know what he's talking about. And if we had got on the phone or we had spoke on camera, we'd have to be on the screen. But if we had spoke, we could have talked about that. She hasn't seen the evidence by the FBI. She hasn't seen the gun. You're literally just saying that. You're just saying it.
Videos of him, of an individual running up and running across the roof. But she did look at weird other examples of someone being arrested, claiming that he shot him. There are some weird things that she's been putting up Frank Turek of Erica Kirk that don't make sense, but they said it. She's using Frank Turek, who was a witness of his assassination there. That's evidence. So stop with the word games. Stop with the lies. Stop with the character assassination.
So this is why I said it. That's why I say email management. And I'm not trying to be, combative. If anybody tells you who's ever emailed management, I do my very best to be kind, even if you disagree with me. And again, because I'm coming from the position of maybe we don't understand each other, and that's okay. And maybe I'm wrong. I could be misunderstanding you or vice versa. So to say that I'm just wrong and you were given an opportunity to email management, I gave you an opportunity to talk. I shot you an email, shot you a message, a DM even. It's like, hey, let's talk about this because you're saying some things that don't make sense and I don't think you understand where I'm coming from. And I want to make sure, and maybe the way I'm presenting it isn't clicking, or maybe you're just not picking it up. And I'm okay with that. I'll make sure I clarify in a way that's reasonable. Okay.
Be honest with yourself. If you hate it, just say it. Please review the content on your channel. I am someone who likes to promote good Christian content. I like to promote people who discern fairly, and if they can, give people the benefit of the doubt. There are some things I won't play on my channel because I think people do make.
If you give them the benefit of the doubt and the person says, call me, email me, why don't you do it? I mean, why not just engage? And we don't have to even been on camera or on the show. I would have gladly made sure you understood where I was coming from. Okay.
Errors in judgment that can happen, but the way you go about it seems intentional, and that's what really upsets me more than anything else. It's not about Candace. I don't like Candace. I don't like her show. She does repeat the truth. That's a technique to obviously get people to watch the next episode. I don't like that. I feel played, but that's what Candace wants to do. That's what she wants to do.
He just said, you just said that Candace doesn't deal in the truth, but I'm just stop it. Just leave it alone.
I find her program incredibly emotional. I find it incredibly girly. I'm like, I don't need that right now. I actually just turn it off when people just give me a link to something thinking, oh, no, bye. But I will watch certain sections or sound bites of people give me going, hey, you need to listen to this. This is actually really good. Or you might want to take note what she's saying here.
So he doesn't watch her show, but he knows that I'm lying and that I hate her. Okay. And he knows that she's a truth teller. Okay.
I do watch snippets here and there. But at the same time, I also find her quite narcissistic. I'm not a huge fan of people plastering their face everywhere. I find it quite narcissistic. I'm not.
You call her a narcissist. Isn't that making a character assassination? I'm just wondering. I don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe you can say. I mean, you could. That's fine. I'll take that I character assassinate her. But isn't that what you're doing too?
Saying she's a narcissist. I don't know her, but it does come across quite narcissistic. It kind of makes sense. She's got a brand around her personality more than anything else. So, bro, I'm not going to meet you. I think what is on your own YouTube channel reflects exactly my concerns. So, my sincere prayer is that you pray and reconsider how you come across when dealing with topics that maybe you aren't across. I think it's really important that we understand the role of vocation and the unique anomaly that Candace Owens is also the anomaly of Erica Kirk. They're both grieving. One's a grieving widow, the other one.
This is very interesting. I'm going to back up just a little second. Okay, this is a very interesting take. And I notice Cantifa does this a lot. They can't just say Erica Kirk, XYZ, ABC, and move on. They have to compare Erica Kirk to Candace. But listen to how much he says about Erica Kirk, how much he says about Candace in the comparison of the two. That is a very weird take. Listen to this.
And the unique anomaly that Candace Owens is also the anomaly of Erica Kirk. They're both grieving. One's a grieving widow, the other one's a grieving close friend of Charlie Kirk and colleague. They both had a clearly different kind of relationship. Erica Kirk has now stepped into Turning Point USA's role. She seems to be quite political and quite driven. And then you've got Candace Owens, who's stepping into not just being not just being a witness of a murder, just like Erica, but if she was summoned to court, then what she says in court is evidence.
I'm sorry. I'm back there right there. No, Candace would not be a witness. She wouldn't, and I'm going to explain that part in a second. But notice, like, oh, Erica's just a widow, but Candace is a colleague, and this, that, and the other. Like they again, Candace is creating. It's funny that he's talking about somebody being a liar and besmirching somebody's character and such of that nature, character assassination, and totally misses the irony of what Candace has done to Erica, what she's done to TPUSA, all in while saying, I don't really rock with Candace. I don't understand what we're doing. But here's just a snippet of, shout out to Milk Bar TV. Here's just a snippet of Candace's evidence.
Just like Erica. But if she was summoned to court, then what she says in court is evidence.
I rarely have vivid dreams. And I did, in fact, have a very vivid one over the weekend. And Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed. A dream that I had, a very vivid dream. This one was clear. Charlie told me that he was betrayed. He actually said more than that, actually. But we're fishing, right? So let's be patient. It is so deep. It is a knowing. It's not even a feeling. It's a knowing. It's not a dream to me. It's like a prophecy. It's like Charlie was betrayed. I don't know what else to say to you. Today, I feel that it is time to tell you the entirety of the repeat dream that I was having in those early weeks. Back in 2018, Charlie and I went to Israel together. And in the dream, we were sitting in the exact same restaurant. The setting of this particular dream, however, had one dramatic difference. We were not there for the opening of the embassy. And this difference, by the way, I don't really understand yet. I'm just sharing it with you. Instead, we were there in this dream setting for Bibi Netanyahu's wife's funeral. Again, that makes entirely no sense. I've never met his wife. I've never spoken about his wife. I know nothing about his wife. So that's just the context of it. I don't make the rules of dream world. Anyway, Charlie said to me, I don't have much time. He followed that up explaining to me that I needed to see what happened on his left. And he told me explicitly, they betrayed me, multiple people. And I said, I know, but who? Then came the frustrating part of the dream. Every time I would say who, you know when you're in a dream and you go who, or you try to speak in the dream, and then suddenly you're actually speaking in real life and you start to wake yourself up from the dream by accident. That's what kept happening. And whenever I would try to listen to what he was saying, it sounded like he was underwater. So I was frustrated by this. I can't get to the part where you tell me who betrayed you. It wasn't until the third week after his death that finally one face came through in this dream. It came through as clear as day from around the corner of the restaurant. And it was Andrew Colvet's. And I felt really weird about having seen him in this dream, but it was so vivid and it was so compelling that I felt that, as weird and as odd as it was, that I had to text him. I said, I rarely have vivid dreams, but I had one clear as day this weekend. Charlie came to me and he sat down and he told me that he did not have much time, that I needed to know that he was in fact betrayed and that they are hiding what happened to my left. I believe his soul is in purgatory.
So I pointed this out when I was on the call with Chris Roseborough, that the date on this was Monday, October 6th. And that's important because on the 8th, she said she didn't know she had no idea who it was. But Charlie came to her on the 6th and told her that it was Andrew Colvet. That would be considered a lie. That's why this is not evidence. So I don't know if Jimmy Neutron knew that or not, but let's let him go.
You know much more than you've said publicly or privately. And Andrew Colvet never answered. It's the last time Andrew Colvet and I spoke. And Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him. He actually said more than that, actually. But we're fishing. And yeah, Andrew Colvet, I think my dream might have meant something. And that's why you've been completely freaked since.
So you're kind of tainting the witness. A lot of Christians seem to be tainting the witness. We can't actually do what you're doing in the States.
I don't even know. This understanding of the legal system, that Candace isn't a witness by any means or measures. Nobody's going to call Candace. I think she's guaranteeing that nobody wants her defense or prosecution are going to call her as a witness. I don't know what this guy is talking about. Let him finish, Jason.
If we did, we would be charged. So it looks like standards here in Australia when it comes to a court case is much higher, and when we have to be much more careful what we say. So it's really sad to see shut your mouth off and reduce her to just calling her Candy and calling her followers Candies.
I don't think I call them Candies. I think I call them Cantifa. I mean, I might have called them Candies. I also call her Candaspiracy too.
Bingo, childlike. Grow up, mate.
Man, that's pretty low down, man. I can't have fun, dog. I mean, I guess I should stop calling him Jimmy Neutron too.
You're meant to be someone who's maturing in Christ, not like laughing and screaming and getting tickled like a toddler.
It has nothing to do with anything. We're having a good time. I guess you don't go to a comedy show and laugh either. You don't watch a movie and get a enjoyment and smile and laugh there. Okay. I mean, I don't understand. Maybe if you laughed a little bit more, you would actually soundproof that room so you actually would sound better. I mean, I'm just saying.
Your behavior was not acceptable on that show.
Oh, no.
You even said something pretty foul, saying she was like a crackhead on an iPhone or something like that. And that was off.
See, that's the thing. Like I said, we are listening to a crackhead down at the bus station. You just gave an iPhone to a crackhead. That's what we're talking about. I don't think anybody translated that as I'm calling her a crackhead. I'm not. If you translated that, okay, then I apologize. I don't think anybody got. I think it was very clear. I'm saying that we're listening to somebody just ramble and sound crazy. That's what I was saying. But again, this could have been settled. I would have actually answered those questions. But this is the other thing I think is adorable. Remember, he said he always quotes wolves. He called me a wolf. He always quotes them accurately. He still hasn't quoted me accurately at all.
Like, you need to hold your tongue. And as I've said in the past in another video, folks, you don't belittle women. And again, looking at the way JWhit does carry on, he does belittle women.
Well, okay, so the standard is you don't belittle women. Okay, who said that? Whose standard is that? And I don't know. Y'all let me know. Do I belittle women? I feel like all things being considered, I don't really dog Candace out like I could, and definitely not like others do. But I'm also very respectful to Erica. So I don't think, have I ever said anything bad about Erica? I have tons of women come on my channel. I have tons of women in the chat, in the comment section. Y'all let me know down below. Do I belittle women? And I think you can say I definitely belittle this woman, Candace Owens, thought process and how she goes about things. But if you want, I don't think I belittle her. But I mean, hey, let me know. I'm willing to hear.
Even if you don't like Candace Owens, you do not belittle women. It's kind of now a new trajectory I'm going on as well, being a bit more of my focus, because I have reviewed women in the past. I'm not quite sure if they were derogatory, but I do think I can improve my own language regarding women being false teachers.
Oh, so the problem is Jimmy Neutron has a problem with women. I don't have a problem with women. Okay.
So it was a good chance for me to kind of hear my own words and go, yeah, I need to try and do better as well.
So it's not me. You have dogged out women. You have said derogatory things about women, and you're trying to imply that and impose that on me so you feel better about yourself. Oh, gotcha.
Mental disability is a growing issue in the West, and I think we need to respect people who do have mental disabilities.
Who has a mental disability?
I think we need to change our rhetoric to engage better. We don't need to character assassinate people. We don't need to belittle people. The facts should speak for themselves. And Chris Bosbury, if you are watching, you might want to actually do reshoot that entire Eighth Commandment Bible study and not have JWhit there, but actually use JWhit as a case study. I think you'll be shocked when you start examining how he does misrepresent Candace Owens. So that's all I want to say. Love you all. Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Well, there we go. Shout out to Jimmy Neutron. Shout out to Jimmy. Hope everything goes well. Hey, Chris, if you want to redo it, if I'm being unfair or unhonest or dishonest, rather, you know my number. Chris Roseborough calls me. He called me. So he would call me and talk about this and see if there's something that if he felt like it was wrong. But we talked prior to, and he was in alignment. So that's not the issue. I just think it's adorable. Shout out to this guy. I'll leave the full video because he goes on a little rant about what his quote unquote ministry. I didn't find it beneficial, so I did chop some of that out just to get to the salient points that he's saying about me. But let me know what y'all think about it. I really do appreciate y'all. And like I said, man, hey, I'm willing to talk to whomever. I don't have a problem with that. So when I say email management, shoot me an email. And let's talk about it. Maybe there's something that is misunderstood. Maybe I misunderstood what he means by evidence. Well, clearly what he's saying is evidence isn't evidence. I don't even think that's in Australia. I don't think a lot of that stuff is hearsay. But yeah, so that wouldn't be considered evidence, and there's not witness tampering. I don't hate Candace, and I don't belittle women. Come on, man. And come on, I can't have fun. Y'all tell me if I can. Can I have fun? Anyway, y'all have a great rest of the day. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Please make sure you like the video. All that kind of good jazz. Jump into the comment section. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. You think I'm on target or you think I'm off. Let me know. I want to hear. And if this guy ever wants to have a conversation, I will keep the invitation open. It'll always be open. Until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.